Welcome to this presentation titled Automated Graduate Training Monitoring, the Case of Gulu University and Strategies for Institutional Adoption. The paper was written by three authors, John Biabazaire, Benedict and Geoffrey Tabo. The presenter today is Benedict Oyo, and we are all from Gulu University. The motivation behind this study is due to the low graduate completions as reported in the literature in most of the African universities. That is in the range of 30 to 40%. And the reasons for these low completions are attributed to weaknesses in research supervision, the slow external and internal examination processes, other student factors, and other institutional support inadequacies. Now, the underlying challenge, therefore, to graduate completion could be due to weak tracking strategies of students' progress as well as institutional initiatives. Therefore, the graduate tracking system is important in being able to evaluate the progress or non-progress that is made by students over a period of time, as well as the support, the good support or the weak support that is offered by the supervisors and other academic support initiatives. The aim of the research was to investigate factors that deter progression in graduate training and therefore be able to provide an online tracking system to assess progress that is made by students, including other institutional support processes. The research method adopted was a user-centered design through which the study was undertaken from September 2018 to April 2019. There were a team of developers, 3 developers, and other targeted users that were involved in this study included the director of graduate school at Gulu University, deans from 2 faculties, 2 senior academic staff, and 2 staff members from the ICT Directorate. These staff members from the Directorate mainly offered guidance with regards to the institutional ICT readiness to run the graduate tracking system. From May 2019 to November 2019, initial adoption was done through a pilot involving a final year master student from the Faculty of Science. And then from December to date, we are on scaling up of the adoption to other faculties, although this has been interfered by the current lockdown caused by COVID-19. 2 design methods were used, the monolithic approach and the microservices approach. And we explain these methods in the next slides when we focus on the processes involved in approving a proposal as well as the research dissertation. Now, by this stage, it is clear that the graduate tracking system has mainly 4 entities. We have the student, and the student has specific roles which are indicated. We have the supervisor, and the supervisor also has specific roles in the system that can be tracked. Then we have the department with certain roles to perform, the faculty with roles to perform, and the graduate school, where most of the final administrative processes, including management of examination, both the internal and external examination, is handled. So essentially, going through these entities, the student is able to track what happens after he has submitted his or her proposal, and then the supervisor can also be tracked by the department or faculty if there are certain delays that are happening with regard to approving a proposal or dissertation at that stage, or attending to the student needs. The faculty, a proposal or dissertation might be submitted to the department, and there could be delays, which delays can be tracked at the faculty level. And just in case the faculty is also has also allowed delays to take place, then the graduate school can be able to track some of those processes and explore ways to expedite them. Okay, following from the design strategies that we have already presented, there are certain sequence of activities that take place in the system. We have, for instance, the proposal module or the dissertation or thesis module. With the proposal module, the student submits the proposal to the supervisor, and then the supervisor may forward it as is to the head of department. Of course, by the time the student submits it in the system, there has already been work between the supervisor and the student. The head of department organizes for a presentation or defense at which the proposal could be sent back to the supervisor to work with the student to make the corrections, or the proposal can be forwarded to the dean, and then the dean also forwards to graduate school for archiving. At that stage, the proposal will have been approved. A similar, although more complex process takes place with regard to the thesis. What are the outcomes? Certainly, the main outcome of this study is the graduate tracking system, which has been piloted and is now accessible online on the URL provided. But there are other outcomes. Remember, this study is about tracking of progression of graduate training. So how is this tracking done from the student side, and what are the complementary kind of tracking that can be undertaken by the department, faculty, and graduate school? A case in point is tracking by a student. This is a student. The screenshot indicated is a student who submitted a dissertation in November, and this dissertation goes through the supervisor, and once the supervisor has received it, the student is notified. How long it takes with the supervisor, the student will get to know, as well as the next stage, which is at the dean level. So when the supervisor approves this dissertation, it goes through the dean. The dean also forwards it to the graduate school. The graduate school assigns examiners, and when the internal and the external examiners have received the dissertation, the notification are sent backwards in the system, and when the final examination has also been done, again feedback is reported back. So essentially, during these processes, we are able to track where the delays are, as is shown in the next slide. which is tracking by the graduate school, and there are acceptable delays that are preset in the system. In this case, the supervisors are expected to take up to around 12 days to go through the final submission of dissertation by the students. The dean is expected to take up to 18 days to be able to organize several submissions, probably from other students too, such that a batch can be forwarded. And then the graduate school has up to about 10 days to be able to collect available dissertations from wherever they are coming from. And then the examination process, again, internal and external examination, allows up to about 50 days for that to be done. So essentially, the bar graphs are preset days into the system, and then the tracking is actually done by the average completion time, which is indicated by the line graph. Again, this is a process which was under pilot, and according to the pilot results, it was the overall progression was good, in that at the supervisor level, at the dean level, and even at the examiners sections, the average times were much less than the expected worst case scenario. The adoption strategy is based on the idea of practice, where you may choose to evaluate the existing infrastructure, whether that supports the graded tracking system, and also you look at the institutional readiness in terms of policies, procedures, and sustainability. You may choose to focus on end-user driven strategy, developing capacity from the end user upwards, and also you explore integration with relevant existing systems. Most universities could be having an archiving system, and therefore the integration of graded tracking system with the archiving system would be quite important. Other requirements, server requirements, are also indicated in case a university that is adopting the GTS wishes to have this run on their local server. In conclusion, we wish to safely state that GTS can increase graduate completions, since it eliminates hidden causes of delays, and therefore it enables timely countermeasures to be taken. But most importantly, the graduate students are supported to be able to create a gap and competition amongst themselves as they continuously know how they are progressing. And also there are milestones that are used to evaluate the efficiency of support from the institutions, and therefore one faculty that is performing better than the other becomes as a benchmark for others to follow. At this state, with these preliminary results, we can say that the impact cannot be reliable yet. We have presented the preliminary results, but we are still continuing to undertake this research, and we hope that after institutional-wide adoption, it is only then that we can safely be able to provide accurate impact of the graduate tracking system. Thank you so much for following through this presentation. Your questions are welcome.